Hey guys, if you are finding that you need support or help with part one of the Rolling with Potential Energy Lab, then listen up. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go through each step here. So, first off, we're going to start with our purpose question, which reads: how does the height of an object affect its potential energy? If you're still not able to identify your independent and dependent variable in a purpose question, start by finding the word effect. We've talked about that the independent variable will come before the word effect, and the dependent variable will come after the word effect. So start by finding the word effect, look before it for your independent, and after it for your dependent variable. Once you're completed with that, make sure you go through and you read the background information for gravitational potential energy. The first thing that you had to fill in or complete in part one was your equation for gravitational potential energy. And remember, we've spoken about it at this point. Gravitational potential energy is mass times gravity times height. So that's what you're going to be using to fill in the box here. Going back to that purpose question and identifying the independent and dependent variables, you are going to use that to complete the variable section of your worksheet, as well as your hypothesis. Your independent variable, which comes before the word effect, should get filled in the first blank of your hypothesis. If the fill in the words for your independent variable. You need to select whether or not those are going to be increasing or decreasing. All I want you to do is circle increases or decreases. So again, the first part of your hypothesis is talking about the independent variable, which comes before the word effect. The second part of your hypothesis should be your dependent variable. You will fill in the blank with the variable that comes after the word effect in your purpose question. So if the independent variable, you choose increase or decrease, then the dependent variable, increase or decrease, and then you have a because. Think of your because like text evidence. Go into the background information section about gravitational potential energy and try and find some text evidence that supports your hypothesis. What do you think will happen when the independent variable is changed? What will then happen to the dependent variable? Once you are finished with your hypothesis, if you did not already fill in your independent and dependent variables, go ahead and write those on the lines. Remember, your independent is what we are changing and comes before the word effect. Your dependent is what we are measuring, and that comes after the word effect. For your data table, you were to have gone through and measured the height of 3 books. We know that the height of 0 books is going to be 0. Then you were to measure the height of 3 books. Most people found that the height of 3 books was around 0.05 meters. Some people found it was 0.06, but around 0.05 would be fine. To then figure out 6 books, all you needed to do was take 0.05 and multiply it by 2. So this would give you 0.10. And then for 9 books, you had to multiply it by 3. For your equation, it is the same for all 4 boxes. We wrote it up above. M, G, H, which stands for your mass times your gravity times your height. The mass of this experiment is the metal ball bearing. For the metal ball bearing, the mass is located here, 0.07 kilograms. 0.07 kilograms. So in your work, you're going to start by taking 0.07 and writing that in the box. We're multiplying it by G gravity. G gravity is located up here in that background reading. We have gravity as 9.8. So you're going to fill it in with 9.8. And then your height is what is changing in this experiment. In the first example here, our height is 0. So then we get an answer of 0, and our units are joules. You then need to go through and complete the same thing for 0.05 as your height. You'll write mgh again as your equation. Your mass is still 0.07. Your gravity is still 9.8, but now your height is 0.05. You'll repeat that with 6 books and 9 books. All of your answers should be a number that is smaller than 1.0. They are all smaller. Once you are done with all of your data, take a look at the results. As we went from 0 to 9 books, did we increase that height or decrease that height? And then what did that do to the potential energy? Did it increase it or decrease it? The last thing that you need to do is you need to complete the relationship between the height, your independent variable, and the potential energy, your dependent variable. For this, you're going to use the sentence starter. As the blank increases or decreases, then the blank increased or decreased. You are looking at your green arrows up here. Start with your independent variable, fill in the blank with your independent, and then choose increases or decreases. Then fill in the blank with your dependent variable and decide if it increased or decreased. Hopefully this helps you complete part 1 of the Rolling with Potential Energy Lab.